Hi, I'd like to give you some more information about data protection and to explain our responsibilities that we have as individuals and also as an organisation. So you may have heard of the terms data protection and GDPR. It's mentioned quite a lot at the moment on the news. So we have a responsibility to comply to this regulation, and we're going to explain here how we've all got to think about and justify how and why we use data and information. So all of us, whether we're staff, trustees or volunteers, have got a responsibility to protect information, and this presentation is going to explain how we're going to do this. It's about ensuring people can trust you to use their data fairly and responsibly. So if you collect information about individuals for any reason other than your own personal family or household purposes, then you need to comply. So obviously, if you've got a list of people that you send Christmas cards to or your family's birthdays, that is not covered by Data Protection Act. But obviously, we collect a lot of information. We collect information about each other, about our members, so we need to comply. The Information Commissioner's Office, so we'll call it the ICO, regulates data protection and they offer advice and guidance. I've put at the bottom a link to their website, and it's really interesting if you're able to take a look on there and see what type of things they do. They are there to help us, but equally if somebody complains to them, they can take enforcement action where appropriate, and that can include rather hefty fines, which is while it's really important that we do follow their rules. So data protection and personal data, it's about a living individual, okay? So it could be anybody. I've got a list there of people, but for us it's going to be our members, anybody that we're involved with at St Helens Mind, including each other. If you can identify someone from details, it's personal data. So there are lots of ways that you might just think, well, I just use initials. But if it's initials with a telephone number or a postcode, even if it's very minor detail, if you can identify someone, then it's personal data. And we collect information about our volunteers, service users, staff and trustees, and all of our information must be protected. It's vital that we try not to carry documents about with us. However, if it's not possible to return paperwork to an office at the end of the day because of the moment of the current lockdown situation, then you really must be very careful with the documents that you're carrying around with you. The protection of that information is our responsibility as individuals. So if you or I have got a list of initials and telephone numbers, no one else must have sight of that, and we must make sure that we keep it in our possession, that we don't lose it or destroy it. If we don't do that and the information is lost or destroyed or disclosed, and we report it to the ICO, because by law, if we lose something with other people's information on that can identify them, then we have to report it ourselves, and that could result in legal action being taken against the person who lost it as well as the organisation. So we must not store, convey or transmit information that may identify service users in an unencrypted format via email. Removable devices such as pen drives should also be encrypted or password protected. These items are small, light and easily lost, but also contain high volumes of information. If St Helens Mind believes that confidential data is being stored or transferred in an insecure manner, it can recall all removable items, whether or not they belong to the organisation, and it may lead to disciplinary action being taken. So extreme care must be taken to prevent the unauthorised disclosure of personal information. If you're working on a PC, and at the moment we're not in offices, make sure that screens are positioned carefully so that anybody who's passing by can't just see the information at a glance. Always log out when leaving your desk. Don't leave screens open. And password management is vital. Adhere to the rules that you're given and make sure that you use passwords consistently. Anything that's paper-based must be kept in a locked cabinet with the key elsewhere, obviously not sticking out of the lock. And sensitive conversations and telephone conversations should always be taken away from other people where you may be overheard. Incidents must be reported. Firstly, to Jill, the CEO. There may not have been any actual data loss. There may have been a near miss, but she must be told if anything has happened. If we know this, we can then look at eliminating the practice that led to that. It's not about blaming people. We need to make sure that we learn from any mistakes that we make. As I mentioned earlier, the ICO upholds information rights. If you'd like to find out more about individuals and organisations that have broken the rules and received fines, please click below. And it says there, actions we've taken. And it's just to give you an idea, really, of what people did and how it was dealt with. Genuine errors are treated as such, and we're given support to put them right. But we must understand that people's data is invaluable and we must not share it with anyone. So, I had a look on the website that I've just mentioned to you, just to see what happened to an individual and what happened to an organisation who breached data protection regulations. And this one, only a few months ago, was a young lady who worked in Whitchurch in Shropshire, and she basically manipulated some of the information. I'm not sure of the reason that she did that, but she was fined £400, had to pay nearly £1,500 in costs and another surcharge of £40. And I've no idea why she did that, and it may be that someone asked her to do it, but I think you'll agree that that's quite a lot of money for an individual to be fined. However, British Airways have been fined £20 million because 400,000 of its customers' details were accidentally leaked. So yes, one extreme to the other, but this is how important it is that we keep everyone's details private. So just a final thought, do you have access to a service user's personal data? And I'm guessing for most of us, the answer is going to be yes. The minimum you may have is their name and their phone number. It may just be their first name and their phone number, but you do in that case have access to a service user's personal data. How do you access it? Do you use a computer, a phone, or a piece of paper? Is it secure? Think about what you do. Is your phone got a password on it? Have you got a login on your PC? Where do you keep your piece of paper? Do you want to talk to someone about how you comply with data protection if you've got any concerns about this? Remember, the protection of information is the responsibility of us individually as well as the organisation, and unfortunately may lead to disciplinary or legal action being taken against us. We do understand that many of our activities take place in the community, and it's the information that could identify someone that we must protect. We are requesting that you do not use paper documents to record information. If you would like to discuss alternatives, please get in touch. If you've got questions and you're a trustee, please speak to the chair, Jean Aldred. If you've got questions and you're a member of staff or a volunteer, please speak to the CEO, Jill Ellison. Thank you for your continued support. We understand that this is a very serious topic, but as such it's vital that we follow these data protection rules to avoid prosecution. If you need further guidance, please contact Jill Ellison, CEO. This is our opportunity to make sure we have procedures in place that will enable us to follow the regulations. Thank you once again for all you do for the people of St Helens, and I sincerely hope we will be able to meet again in person soon. Goodbye. Thank you for watching the presentation. Now that you've finished, please enter your full name in the box below the presentation and then press done to confirm you've read the presentation. Thank you. Goodbye.